Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. It's overcast and a little moody outside, perfect for a cup of coffee and some good music. My first guest is one of the fastest rising talents in the Houston music scene. He's known for his unique blend of rootsy soul, exploring themes of family, heartache, and the power of optimism. Drawing influence from legends like Ray Charles, Marvin Gaye, Jamie Cullum, and John Mayer, his sound is as inspiring as it is original. Here to share more about his latest album is Houston-based singer and songwriter Tim Qualls. Good morning, Tim.
Morning.
All right, you have a great list there of inspiration,
Yes.
but you take all of that and you make it your own.
Yes, for sure.
All right, let's introduce our bandmates first. Okay, starting with vocals here.
We have Alex and Emily
All right.
on
and then-
BGVs, and then we have G-Day, David up back here on the drums, and then Colby and Ben.
All right, welcome. Y'all had to get up early this morning.
We did.
Okay, yeah, because you're used to working probably the other side of the day. All right, you went to Sam Houston State. You majored in.
Vocal performance.
All right, and let's back up to before then, when you first connected to music.
Oh gosh, I mean, I grew up singing in choir, you know, and then when I started making my own music, I started to do open mics.
Yeah. When we say choir, was that the church choir or was that school choir before?
It was like school choir, but I also did like worship leading at church, that sort of thing as well.
All right, so did you have that moment where you do the church music, right? And then all of a sudden you go, and then there's that secular music. Did you ever have to rectify that?
Yeah, it just kind of like always was calling to me, you know,
Yeah.
so I had a piano at home, and I went there, and I always wrote my own stuff. So.
See, I used to do that. I would do the secular music, and then I would my mom would be looking at me, then I would just throw in Jesus in the middle of the, yeah. Because she's bad, she's bad.
Yes.
Jesus, you know it, Yeah, see that, it just makes it all blend right there. All right, so majored in vocal performance, so you really knew what you wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. You worked for a clothing store. Of course, what you want to do, what you're going to do, sometimes you have to do something else while you're doing your other passion, right? So you worked at a clothing store, but you met somebody at a wedding by chance, and that changed a lot of things.
Yeah, I was at a wedding, and I got put at the same table as a producer in town in the city of Houston, and that kind of jump-started my recording stuff there.
Yeah. All right. So you started singing and recording and doing more of that. Your first EP is This Is Our Land. There's so much work that I think sometimes people underestimate that go into writing and performing. You know, a lot of times people will be handed a song, and that's a whole nother effort to be able to interpret that song, but you write it as well as record it.
Yeah.
Take us through that process, because that's not quick. Because it could be, depending on...
Yeah, it just depends. You know, nowadays I do a lot more collaboration with other writers and other producers, and it all becomes part of the same process nowadays. But yeah, we do a lot of that sort of thing now.
And the other thing you did that you touched on, which I love, I get so many people who ask me, well, I want a career in, or I want to do this, how do I do that? Start by just doing it wherever you can. You said you drove around town and did the open mics, but that's a great time to also collect information. What are people responding to? What are people saying about your music?
Yeah. I mean, in the same way that I met my band today, I met them through the culture and through the vibe of playing open mics and other shows and doing productions and that sort of thing. So
you're also very innovative. Beautiful Kind of World. That recording was very personal to you. It starts with your son's heartbeat. Where'd you get that idea from?
You know, just technology, and I was in the room and I wanted to capture it, so the device was on my wife's belly, you know, and so I went to the speaker and recorded it on my phone, and then later on we put it on my album.
Yeah, and then you have something else personal on that album.
Yeah, so, and then that album represents a bookend year, so my son was born in January of that year, and then my dad died at the end of that year, so in searching for things to find of my dad, you know, I found some old voicemails. So I put some voicemails of him on that album too. So there's some heartbeat, and then there's some of my dad talking, kind of the last remnants of that I have.
And we talked about in the intro there that you have, you know, you touch on all those human emotions, heartache being one, but optimism being the other. So you were celebrating being a dad at the same time losing a dad. So just handing it on to that next generation. What's one of the best lessons your dad ever taught you?
He has a saying, WEIT, whatever it takes. So he actually had a license plate of that, so I still have it in my room today. That was kind of one of the biggest lessons he taught me.
All right, your debut album, Feel, described as a very soulful anthem, best album of 2023 by the Houston Chronicle, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You actually have a documentary of the making of Feel.
Yeah, and it you know, I worked with another guy, Tim Johnson, same name, and he followed me around for about a year, and he kind of just went in and out of the studio with us. Yeah, and that's at Wire Road in town.
Yeah.
And so we had a blast, and We had an opportunity to have a lot of great musicians from the city kind of come into it, and yeah, it's been real fun.
That looks cool. I know Wire Road. All right, and the Phil Stripped album, so it's your latest album, and you have 10 songs on there. What kind of feels do we get from that?
Yeah, so it's one part stripped down, it's one part live, it's one part reimagined. You know, there was a guy named Gavin DeGraw growing up who did a stripped version, and a lot of artists will wait 20, 25 years into the future to go back and revisit some stuff, but I wasn't quite finished with the music that I had just put out. So I had the opportunity with a lot of these guys to go back into the studio and take some of the live elements and add them back into the thing, and it's turned out to be a really unique album.
Yeah. It's funny, as you were talking, I could see they're back here, they're like nodding their head, like, yep, that's it, yep, the amen choir back here. All right, Phil Stripped is now on Spotify and Apple Music. To stay connected, follow online at Tim Qualls Music and GreatDayHouston.com. Here he is with his TV debut performance of Mine from his latest album.
Way all or nothing was the game I played. I scream and shout and ask for space, waiting for someone to take your place, and you found me. All alone when I was down, and you held me figure all this out, and you told me that you'd always be around, and now that you have me, Lord have mercy, you will always be. Soul, kinda hard to find my self-control. All I needed was someone to show me the way. Now you're the last one I see at the end of my day, and you found me. Down, and you held me figure all this out, and you told me that you'd always be around, and now that you have me, Lord have mercy, you will always be.
Wow. That was beautiful. You know, it's like usually in a band, you'll see like the drummer has a little thing going on like this right there. All of y'all had a little groove going on. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.